Hey, this is Nate with BleepinJeep. Today, it's lift kit day for the J10 pickup truck. If you're familiar with the BleepinJeep YouTube channel, you are definitely familiar with Rough Country. We've used them in a number of builds. They're a big sponsor of ours. And I personally have not installed anything from Rough Country. I'm eager to get my hands on this and see how everything rides and bolts up. It seems out of the box. Everything seems like really nice quality. You know, like this has a nice coating on these U-bolts. And it's got a nice, pretty decent looking drop pitman arm. The shocks I upgraded. These shocks that I'm going to put on here are their new Vertex shocks. And these are fully adjustable 2.5-inch body external reservoir shocks. I know that this is a low buck build. Now that, like I said earlier, that's a sponsored product, but when I do low buck builds like this, I still don't like to skimp too much on things like shocks or tires. They're both so important. This vehicle in particular, I'm not building for a rock crawler. If I want to go crawl rocks, I'll use this. I'm not building it to tow heavy loads. If I want to tow heavy loads, I'm going to use that dually Dodge out there. This is going to be something that I want to be able to take hunting, or I can take fishing, and I can go and mob through dirt roads and it's not just beating me all to hell. The shocks are not made for the J10. That's just a random length shock that I knew would be long enough. I'm going to pull this whole shock bracket and everything out of here, and we're going to build some custom hoops, front and rear. It's just a 3-inch lift, nothing crazy. I don't want to have the springs arch too much because then you really sacrifice ride quality. I've been soaking these bolts overnight, and I think our overall goal is going to be pull the wheels off and then just do one spring at a time. Hopefully these bolts don't give me too much trouble. New springs versus old springs. You can see there's a little more arch. It's interesting to me. I don't know a whole lot about leaf spring technology, but this is actually a smaller spring pack. There's only 4. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm not sure if a whole bunch of small ones rides better or if just a few big ones. I have no idea, but I guess we're gonna find out. Little problem. We got about 2 5/8 clearance here and about 3 inches clearance here. If you look at the bracket close, it's very tweaked, so I don't think that it's a Rough Country problem as much as it is a whoever built this shackle problem. So let's see what I got to do to fix it. Well, I was trying to do one side at a time. Got the new spring in over here and it won't settle. I took the shock off and everything and it just won't settle. There's obviously some binding going on from the other side, so I will take the other leaf spring off and then I can center these on their pins and put the U-bolts on. As you can see, I've made a mess down here. It's you know, I got the front end kind of teetering on multiple jacks and whatnot, but it's time for lunch. Ooh, smoked steak with blue cheese crumbles on top in the smoker. Yeah, we eat good around here. Now that we're all fueled up, let's do this. I don't think our steering stabilizer is very good. Something I'll have to change out later. I think we're having a problem with C's drive shaft. I can't get the axle to go forward enough to drop onto this pin. And I'm like just yanking the crap out of it, and I'm seeing no play in that drive shaft. Oop, focus. There, oop, maybe. There we go. And so I'm going to pull the drive shaft and I'll finish the lift kit, and then I guess I'll have to see if I can service this thing here if I need to take it somewhere. Disconnected the drive line, and the axle pulled forward and went right in, no problem. This drive line needs some work for sure. It's seized up, and there's some noises I don't like up there. I think the CV might be bad as well. So once I'm done with the lift kit, I'll pull that and take a look at it. Let's start on the back. I'm gonna go ahead and buzz these shocks off first thing instead of after the fact like I did in the front. Make it a little bit easier to drop the axle down. Couldn't really access the bolt for the shackle while it was on the truck, so I took the lower part of the shackle off. Now I'm going to remove the shackle from the old spring and throw it on the new spring. Here's a little tip. Get yourself a big set of channel locks. It's nice for stuff like this where you need to kind of get in there and squeeze your U-bolt in order to make it fit. I use these for all kinds of stuff. I use them for oil filters. I use them for, I mean, there's so many situations where it's nice to have a big set of channel locks. You know, even if you're just got a big piece of tube you need to rotate, you know, to something that's bound up, it's just nice to have. Now that we know what we're doing, let's see how fast we can bust out this other side. None of these nuts and these U-bolts for all four sides have fought me until the very last one. I could not get it to break with my impact. So I whipped out the breaker bar and an extension, and I finally was able to get it. I thought I was about, you know, winning the lottery when it came to these things. I was pretty happy I didn't have to cut any off, and I was just thinking it as I was loosening this last one, and it didn't want to loosen. Front and rear springs are installed. So what's next? Well, I'm going to trim down a few of these U-bolts, and then I'm going to go through and torque every U-bolt to spec all the way around, and then put some tires back on. we're all torqued down. Let's install some wheels and tires. Well, that was a lot of work, and I didn't even get it all done. We still have to do shocks. I'd still like to do the pitman arm, but we're gonna have to do all that later. We ran out of time this weekend. Let's take a look at the results. There we go. That's sitting better. Decided to go with Super Swamper LTBs. They're aggressive. They're only a 31, which I think matches the 3-inch lift just about perfect. So, pretty excited to go test these out. I bet they can fling some mud. I didn't want to re-gear my axles, so I didn't want to go too big. Plus, to keep costs down, man, smaller tires sure are cheaper. But it still gives it a nice aggressive stance. I think it looks awesome. One other thing I finally got in the mail. Some of you are gonna, the diesel fans are gonna be like, yes, no way, that's awesome. The non-diesel fans are gonna be like, wow, that's really douchey. The truth is, all of you are correct. Exhaust stacks are douchey and they are awesome. I'm a diesel guy, so I'm all about that diesel stack life. I've never had a truck with a stack. I think it would be cool. And it just kind of gives it that little bit of extra personality. If you're liking what you're seeing, you want to see more? Like, subscribe, all that stuff you're supposed to do to support people on YouTube. Please support us on Patreon. Follow us on social media. I just got a Nate BleepinJeep Instagram page, so follow me on there if you want to see little sneak previews of things I'm working on in here. And we'll see you guys later.